The intro of a YouTube video is one of the first things people start to optimize for when making content. However, it is a lot more than just establishing a hook and telling people to watch until the end. So for that reason, I've collected 15 advanced insights that you will need to know about when you're trying to create the perfect intro. Let's get into it. Number 1, forgotten information. Most of the information that you give in your intro will actually be forgotten by the time it becomes relevant. And the reason for this is that whenever people watch your intro, they're doing more than just trying to figure out what the video is about. A lot of viewers still are deciding whether they want to watch the video or not. So not everybody is fully paying attention yet to everything that you're saying. And because of this, we notice that the information can be forgotten so easily, especially to those who haven't even decided whether they want to watch or not. So as a solution, what you can best do is understand how important some of the elements are that you're saying in your intro and re-establish them later on. So for example, at the 2-minute mark, at the 5-minute mark, or right before it becomes relevant. Number 2, the intro formula. A common question that goes around is whether the more famous intro formulas apply to all types of channels. And the answer is actually yes, it does. The main difference between one intro and another tends to be the tone in which we deliver it. So for example, if we're using a normal intro, in one video, like an entertainment video, we could say it very animated. Such as, in today's video, we're going to do this and this and this. It's a tone that we're setting by saying it like that. While in an educational video, we say it more like, today we're going to get into the video that this. Now let's say we have a more documentary style video. Then we say, today we're going to look at the lions in the wild. Again, the exact information we give can be the same, but it's the tone that changes. Number 3, the 3 key elements of a warm intro. A warm intro or a warm opening is a type of intro where we're vocally saying the information to start our video. Instead of a cold opening where sometimes we have like a teaser clip or we just show the scenery around us. Now, a good warm opening has at least the following 3 elements. Number 1, we confirm the title idea or the concept behind the title. This is where we typically restate the title to confirm the viewer's expectation of what this video is going to be about. Number 2, essential context. This is the context that is absolutely necessary to give at this moment and cannot be given at any later moment in your video. And number 3 is the goal or the direction of the video. This is because that way the viewer understands where are we going, what are we trying to achieve, and what is this video going to really do. Now there are certain videos that don't need that last one, such as a listicle video because the goal is implied, but that's a really good 3-step formula if you want to create a good intro. Number 4, emotional teaser clips. Teaser clips can be a great way to start your video, and they can also highlight some of the cool moments in your video so the viewer knows that you are making a promise to give good content.
Apologize. Of course I'll apologize. Yeah, I know you're gonna apologize right now.
However, when people use teaser clips, I often notice they do not tease the actual content, and the content being the exciting parts related to the topic of the video. What most people do instead is they tease the emotion. They tease, for example, wow, which is a reaction, and those teaser clips don't perform as well as the teaser clip that actually shows what you're going to give. So if it's an explosion, show the anticipation and the build up towards that explosion, or show the damage that's being done but don't show the explosion yet. And that's what makes for good teaser clips. Number 5, when you're trying to analyze the data of your YouTube intros, you will have a very difficult time doing so. And the reason for that, and sorry, this is gonna get a little bit more complex, is that when we look at the retention charts, which is the charts that show us how long people watch in a video, they are broken up into 1% increments. So if you have a 10-minute video, we only get a data point every 6 seconds. And with most intros not taking longer than 15 seconds, you only have 2 data points to judge your video on. First, you have your 100% because everybody who clicks on the video sees the first second. Then you have one thing after 6 seconds, and that is always gonna go down no matter what. And then your third data point is the one that ends your intro. Now you would say, hey, the percentage here matters, but the thing is like this, we don't see the nuance of every sentence, every single image that you show in your intros, and that makes it that the retention charts are actually bad at telling you how good your intro did. Number 6, the purpose of an intro. I sometimes get the question, why do we even have to do an intro in the first place? And I'm gonna keep this advice very simple. The whole reason why we're doing an intro and why we're explicitly stating to the viewer what this video is going to be about and the important context is so that the viewer doesn't get confused in the initial seconds. And confusion often leads to a loss of interest. So to prevent a loss of interest, we're giving context up front so the viewer doesn't get confused and they do not lose their interest early on. And early interest loss is so damaging for a YouTube video. Number 7, second decision-making point. There's a little fact that people don't really know about YouTube intros, and that is that it actually serves as a second decision-making point. So the first decision-making point is the thumbnail title of your video. That's why people get initially interested. But some people don't really know if you're going to deliver on their promise or if this video is actually something they're interested in. They were interested in the concept, but are they interested in the story that you have to tell with that concept? So that's why the intro is often not just used for context, but often used to decide, is this really something I want to watch? And if the intro mismatches with the interest they had in the title thumbnail, then you'll often see less performance for the overall performance of the video. Number 8, cold openings. So a cold opening is an opening where we start kind of vague, we don't provide the context, and we kind of ease the viewer into the story. Unfortunately, most of the times, cold openings are 50-50. The reason why is because, again, cold openings don't provide this context right up front. And this could lead to confusion. And confusion is often the reason of a loss of interest. You know, I'm kind of just repeating myself, but that's the reason that cold openings are often a 50-50. Number 9, one wasteful sentence. If you're just going to pick an intro formula and follow the structure, it is great, but it often sounds very formulaic and very robotic. And so for that reason, one of the best advice that I always tell people, one single wasteful sentence isn't going to harm your intro that much. But what it will do is make your intro sound a lot more genuine, a lot more natural. So it's actually not a bad idea to just add something there. And wasteful is between quotations, because you could do it to set a tone or to make the viewer more excited. So for example, saying, this is actually the best video that I've ever made. It is a wasteful sentence, but it does kind of convey, hey, this person is really proud of this video, maybe I'll give it a chance. So that's why it's like, one wasteful sentence cannot be a bad idea to do. Number 10, clear transition. The intro is more than just a sequence where you present some information. The intro and optimizing for an intro also goes into the clear transition from your intro to your first segment. And the reason why I'm highlighting this one is because what we notice when we transition from an intro into a first segment, and that transition is very clear so the viewer knows, oh, the intro is over. We often notice that the retention starts to be really good, that people start to really pay attention and start to get into the video. But if that transition between the intro and the first segment isn't that clear, viewers tend to continue to lose interest because they don't know, oh, the information is over. So for that reason, make the transition clear. This could be with music, with visuals, or any other method. Number 11, intro length. This one is going to be the shortest one that I'm going to give you, but any intro longer than 25 seconds tends to hurt pretty bad for retention. The reason for this is because there's too much information, people feel like you're just feeding them information rather than getting into the content, and that's why often they lose interest. Number 12, word choice. We often think that intro optimization is all about what are you gonna put in there and what's the sequence and the music and the editing, but it's a lot more than that. A lot of times when we want to optimize our intro, we look at the words that we're using. If we use a lot of complex words from the get-go, this might push people away. So often what we try to do is figure out what's the simple language that we can use. What's the sentence structure so that we have simple, short, digestible sentences rather than a very long, difficult sentence that takes a lot of thought. Think about it, people, when they watch an intro, they're not here to think. They're here to just listen, take it in, and go on with the video. So optimize your words and keep it simple. Number 13, the amount of visual elements. One of the most common things that I see when it comes down to an intro is people do way too many cuts, way too many visual elements, and it's way too fast-paced. So what they'll have is they'll have 7 seconds where you have 7 different shots and you add your one-word edited subtitles. The problem is there's so much stimulants, so much information, so that a lot of times it will do more harm than good. If there's too much information, the brain is just gonna shut down, which is a process that we often refer to as cognitive overload. So keep your intro simple. Give each shot enough time so the viewer understands it, and also give all the information in a way that is easy to listen to. And the one-word subtitles are not that great because then the viewer is only focused on the subtitles and not on the visuals. One day I'm gonna have a video about subtitles. Number 14, watch until the end. All right, we're almost at the end, but telling people to watch until the end is a tactic that people think works, but it actually in fact doesn't work. There's no data that has proven that this will work better than not stating it. And a lot of times it will actually discredit you because it makes you look like you're trying to trick the viewer to watch until the end. Give them the exact reason why they should watch until the end. Be like, at the end, I'm inviting a really cool person. But if you just say, make sure to watch until the end, let's get into it. It feels too cheap. So that's why often it doesn't work. And number 15, autoplay. Viewers see your intro before they click on the video. When they're in the homepage, a lot of people actually hover over the thumbnail to see what the video is going to look like. So in the initial seconds of your video, you want to have it visual and you want to kind of depict the style in which you're presenting your video. So that when somebody hovers over the thumbnail, they already get a grasp of what the video is going to look like. And this can, if done right, help actually making people click on your video a lot more. So if you think about what improves your clickability, it is not just your thumbnail. It is your thumbnail and the opening seconds of your video. Now, those were 15 important insights for your intros on YouTube. However, as a disclaimer, most of these require a lot more context, but I'm trying to make it as digestible as possible so that you can be helped without needing to listen to a 1-hour lecture about one of these points. Hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.